So my name is Pablo. I'm a CRGS major. My role in Courageous Cuentos is the typesetter. I am working with someone else to just work on the inside of the book and what size font and everything, all that it's displaying and kind of inputting all the newer text from the old or from the second version of Courageous Cuentos and implementing that into the new version of it.
And how long have you been involved with Courageous Cuentos now?
This would be my first time actually, because I think this class is new. The first time they're actually having this as an actual class, so this would be my first time.
Awesome. Now, what, in your own words, can you describe what the Courageous Cuentos is and what it seeks to do?
Yeah, Courageous Cuentos itself is a journal of counter narratives of different stories of different experiences that students here experience, and some of it doesn't have to relate to completely here, like of other experiences that they had elsewhere and how those experiences help kind of shape them now and how those experiences affect them being here. Yeah, that's what I would have definitely said for that.
Now, what, like from what I've heard before, would you say that the Courageous Cuentos is a really kind of tight-knit community?
I would say so. Definitely can be very inclusive space though. Like, I think it welcomes different forms of stories. So I think there's not like a limit to that. Yeah.
Now, after with your experience so far, would you recommend to any freshmen incoming that are looking for a group like the Courageous Cuentos, would you recommend incoming freshmen to check out what the Courageous Cuentos is?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend freshmen, to look through that because I think, especially when it comes to their identities and coming into a new environment like here, oftentimes where they feel excluded or maybe homesick or culture shock, I think reading through those narratives would kind of help them feel at home and have that connection and know that whatever they're experiencing is validated and important. And I think it would also just help them to, or maybe kind of push them to also write their own experiences, so people who come in for the next time as well, when they feel that exact same thing, it just comes as a cycle of new people coming in with different experiences and kind of building a sense of belonging. Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest impact that the Courageous Cuentos has on the direct local community and your friends and people that you interact with?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I would say, I think definitely sharing your experiences brings a more of a closer connection to people who you talk to, and kind of saying like, oh, like you experienced this too. This is how I feel too, but like I don't know if sharing this would make me feel like, like I am different or something like that. Like kind of like you kind of make connections with people by sharing your experiences, and just kind of in a way a sense of creating community with people who you can relate to and whatnot.
How do you go about deciding what gets printed? Like, what kind of internal editing process do you go through, and how do you pitch stories?
Yeah. Well, we definitely have a theme throughout the journal that we try to focus on and kind of have people implement within the journal, and something that's kind of seen throughout. And of course, the experiences that we see through narratives are going to be different, but kind of having a sense of, of theme that kind of ties everything all together. Um, I would say more of from the journal itself, but in terms of like the first part you mentioned, I'm not too sure. Yeah.
How exactly is the Creators Quintus distributed? Is it online as well as in print? Where can students or other community members find that work?
Yeah. So that will actually be both a physical thing you can buy, and it could also be online. Um, I know that there's a website dedicated to just Courageous Cuentos where you can actually have access to the online version and access to purchasing the book itself. Yeah.
How would you say that joining the Creators Cuentos has helped develop either skills for yourself or within the members of it? And like, do you feel more comfortable interacting with people or maybe applying for a certain job now that you have the support of a larger community?
Yeah. I definitely think being in that environment is super crucial because you kind of learn how to work with other people, and you kind of have that environment where if you need some assistance, like you have someone there to help you. And I think it just kind of puts into practice of a sense of communication like in a work environment. So like when something isn't getting done or there's an uncertainty of who's doing what, like it's a good way of putting practice a sense of communication and kind of like figuring out who's doing what, and I think that's really important in a work environment in general. And you definitely do get closer to the people who you work with, especially for Courageous Cuentos, because some of these people actually not only are working on this, but they have also submitted their own pieces of experiences, and sometimes you get that opportunity to share those experiences, and you kind of have a sense of sometimes a better understanding of that person and a stronger connection with that person.
In your own words, why do you think the Courageous Cuentos existing on campus is important?
Yeah, I think it goes back to one of like the earlier questions you kind of asked and kind of that I mentioned. I think Courageous Cuentos is important because, again, it gives space for students who tend to not feel as present or known on campus or in the community to kind of share their experiences and voice that experience is definitely important, and also for like the future incoming people, freshmen, you know, to kind of pave a way, or I guess, or see like how other people got through certain experiences being here, and for people outside of that to kind of see what it's like being in their position in a sense, and it's very important, and kind of creating a sense of understanding, and a form of getting to know a person through reading something that they've written, and kind of in a sense maybe even creating a relationship between people who don't face those experiences and with those who do.
Mm. Awesome. Just really quick before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to say about the Courageous Cuentos or your experience before we wrap the interview up?
Yeah. Personally for me, I think Courageous Cuentos has been an interesting, I don't know, like I'm thinking of one word, I guess, thing that happened, because I think for me, writing was something that I've always struggled with, and I always felt like I never had good writing, so I think through Courageous Cuentos, I was able to kind of just focus on sharing my own experiences rather than like focusing on the technical stuff of writing and what is considered good writing, and like the whole teachings that go behind writing. And I think it's just kind of like revisiting also kind of some of your own experiences through courageous cuentos and kind of putting that on paper and kind of exploring how that has affected you and where you are at as a person.
So would you say it creates a more comfortable kind of learning environment for you to feel comfortable producing more work or just work in general that you feel might be received a bit better?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely. Because again, there's like some of those things where you don't have to focus on, like it's just mostly focusing on what you know based on your experiences. So,